Mm.
And anyone who's traveling, and you don't have to go far. You can go very far, very close by, and you
Mm-hmm.
find that most of the world values their creative traditions. You
Yeah.
know,
Uh-huh.
they teach preschoolers how to do the polonaise in
Hmm.
Poland, little ones. As soon as they can count enough and make that little hesitating step,
Hmm.
as soon as they can do that and hold hands and not let go and maybe count to 8,
Uh-huh.
they're learning to and they're going to polonaise at their when they go from what we call the ceremony from elementary to middle school. They're going to polonaise at what they would be their senior prom. They're going to polonaise
Hmm.
at their wedding reception. They're going to polonaise. This isn't just again a frill, okay? Because
Right.
part of being well rounded, especially in smaller countries who have struggled for their independence, have had to fight
Hmm.
for their national identity, like the Eastern Europe and Balkan countries and Baltic countries who have just been, overrun with
Right.
domination.
Mm-hmm.
Those cultural creative treasures. It's not about, we think about individual. I have an individual talent. I want to cultivate. This
Exactly.
is
Mm-hmm.
this is our culture. These are our folk songs. These are our,
Mm.
you know, classical means of expression. Our poems, our dramas. uh,
Mm-hmm.
So they value them.
Hmm.
And if you don't know them, you're not very well rounded. I'm getting back to that now. You're
Right.
not really,
Yeah.
you don't know
Uh-huh.
very much if you don't know your literature, if you don't know what your poetry is. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
goes back to classical education in a long way. I mean, when people knew the epics and they knew, I sing
Right.
of arms and the man, I sing my
Mm-hmm.
history, right? That
Yeah.
stuff is sung, because
Mm-hmm.
you can remember it for thousands of lines.
Right.
And so
Exactly.
it's not, and I think sometimes that's where we also go wrong. And, feeling like if it's individual and it's maybe even a little selfish with our creativity, but it's not.
Hmm.
It's the entire society that needs this. I don't know if that it
It's like a
somewhat
bond. It's a bonding
it is a
experience. It's
bonding
that. It's
experience.
that. Yeah. It is. It's an identity beyond your personal identity. It's what knits you together. Yeah.
It does.
And yeah.
And it makes you, and it doesn't have to be just a homogeneous either, because one of the great things about the
Mm-hmm.
United States is that we've taken in the rhythms of the world and the cuisines of the world. That's
Yes. Uh
especially in the
huh.
last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the decor and the
Yep.
styles and the this and the that. And so we, um, again, are uniquely open to that because we
Hmm.
haven't had to fight off the Austro-Hungarians for 150 years, or the
Right.
domination of the whatever, the imperial czars who
Uh
ran
huh.
over all of our country. I mean, we've been able to take it and plant it as opposed to
Hmm.
cherish it and keep it till it can come open again. And I
Yeah.
think that's another way to study history. Is obviously studying history through the
Hmm.
arts is an
Oh yeah.
illuminating, liberating experience. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, I grew up, battles and more battles and then more battles, But why
Exactly.
are battles how we define
Why?
history? Come on, give me a break. That's not what defines history. It is
No.
important sometimes. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
does. Mostly it doesn't.
Yeah.
So again, the arts are the greatest way I know to study so many of these. And talking
Mm-hmm.
about being well-rounded. Um, let's be well-rounded by taking this enormous force of the arts and
Right,
using it
because
to.
it goes beyond facts. It goes into the emotions experience. Like you look at a painting made in a certain time, you know what the people were thinking of that time, or the composer, and what they wrote, and you feel that sense of whatever those emotions were of that time. So I
Well,
can
and you
see.
see it. I mean, one of
Yeah.
the things about music, we talk a lot in our era from the 19th century about feelings. That's not what they cared about in the 17th century so much. I mean, a
Hmm.
different sense of it. But music was a system, and it was needing to be properly done, and it needed these expressions. And you saw
Hmm.
it in the fashion, in the wigs, in the cravats. I'm just reading something
Oh
today
wow.
for a Pushkin course I'm starting this week through Memoria Classical Academy. I
Oh
forget what they're
yeah.
actually
Uh
called,
huh.
but yeah. Anyway, that's starting on Thursday. I'll Pushkin 24/7. I'm just psyched because I haven't been able to do that for a while. But I was reading about a certain year in what would have been the imagination of Pushkin with his main character Onegin in the 1823. So at that point, there were something like 32 different ways for the dandy to tie his cravat
Oh wow.
and properly done for the ball in St. Petersburg in Tsarist days.
Uh
And
huh.
you say, but well, that's weird. No, because that mattered, and that's
It,
something about
right.
who
It
you were.
expressed something.
And
Yeah.
fashion is a big part of
Hmm.
the arts and decor. And, I mean, it's not, again, I love the violin, but it's not violin lessons we're talking about here. It's about the
Mm.
entire tapestry where people, it's integrated.